President Trump announcing that he will release the complete, fully declassified and unredacted transcript of his July phone call with the Ukrainian president tomorrow. Fox News has learned that the DOJ lawyers, as well as lawyers in the White House, have advised the White House officials that they should do that. Here now exclusively is one of those officials, Hogan Gidley, White House Principal Deputy Press Secretary. Hogan, thank you very much for being here.
Thanks so much for the time.
Day.
Absolutely. Always.
Will the report, because there's already a lot of scuttlebutt that it's not going to be complete, will it be complete and unredacted? Can you verify that here tonight?
Absolutely. That's what the president said, and that's what he has the authority to do. He's going to release it unredacted and in totality. We want the American people to see this. We want the American people to understand that the media and Democrats pushed a Russian hoax for 3 years with no evidence. And they're doing it all over again. The president has done nothing wrong. But remember, the media and the Democrats, and let's be fair, that's kind of synonymous, they want this to be true so badly. You saw it tonight with Nancy Pelosi. They didn't even wait for any of the evidence that they've been clamoring for now for days.
But you heard
they went ahead and said it now.
He said the president's already admitted to something that he says is an impeachable offense. When you ask a foreign leader to give you a little help with some Oppo research on one of your political rivals, that is an impeachable offense.
He is absolutely putting a little bit more meat on the bone compared to what Donald Trump actually said. He mentioned that in the call, and you will see that tomorrow.
Okay.
They are taking.
Have you seen the transcript?
I have seen the transcript.
You've read the entire thing?
Absolutely, in its entirety. I obviously can't talk about it on the show because the information is classified until we declassify it and release it sometime tomorrow.
But let me ask you this. Will there be any mention on the call that the money that was withheld from Ukraine was dangled in return for help with investigating Hunter and Joe Biden?
Right. I can't get into what's in the document yet. It will be declassified. What the world will see tomorrow is what Donald Trump said today in his tweet. There was no pressure. There was no quid pro quo. And remember, this has moved all over the place. First, it was they wanted to see the transcript. Now they're saying now we said we'll release the transcript. We want everyone to see exactly what's in this document, to understand the president's conversation was perfect. There was nothing wrong with it.
Were they joking? I mean, is it going to be like, oh, it was all really lighthearted?
Again,
is that the answer?
I'm not going to characterize it. You'll see it tomorrow. I'm not going to get ahead of that. But now they're saying we don't want that. We just want what the whistleblower had to say. So they don't want the actual evidence of the phone call. They want someone's characterization who may or may not have seen this in person and heard it third hand.
So you heard Nancy Pelosi today and you heard Congressman Swalwell. They both said it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if there's no quid pro quo, because everybody understands that Ukraine needs support from the United States. Hundreds of millions of dollars was being withheld. Then the president had this phone call, and then a couple weeks later, that money was released. Right. They're saying it doesn't need to be spelled out. Nobody expects anybody to be that dumb, but everybody understands the broader context here, and that is enough.
Right. What is interesting for me is to watch Democrats say all of these things about how Ukraine needs aid, when Barack Obama, all he did was give them blankets and pillows. This president is the one who actually gave them aid, lethal aid, in fact, to fight back against Russia, which is way more.
That's true, but
than
then
Barack Obama
withheld
ever did.
it. Withheld the aid, and then wanted and had the conversation, and then afterwards it was released. That's the important part here.
It
for
is,
the purposes of this conversation.
But let's be very clear about what the president is doing as president and what he ran on and won on this topic, which was making sure every dollar that taxpayers paid into the government was spent wisely. He wants other countries to pay their fair share. He did that at NATO when people weren't paying 2% of GDP.
That he was withholding.
I'm not saying anything about the reason of this. You'll see it tomorrow, and the world can decide. But the fact is, he has done nothing wrong. This will be proven again. And the Democrats and the media, who are complicit and compliant with everything the Democrats want, are going to be made fools of yet again.
So you feel very confident that when people, because I think that with all of these things, everything's open to interpretation. So are you saying that this transcript, which you've read, is just absolutely beyond anybody's ability to twist it one way or the other? It's perfectly clear?
What I'm saying is, it baffles the mind how many times Democrats are going to go down this road and keep walking into these massive left hooks from Donald Trump. They keep setting themselves up with no evidence, pushing lies on the American people, only to be proven wrong time and time again. And look, Mueller proved them wrong. The hours of testimony proved them wrong. Attorney General Barr proved them wrong. Corey Lewandowski proved them wrong.
Let me ask you this.
Them wrong,
There's some reporting,
and they're still pushing these lies without evidence.
Understood. There's some reporting today that there was a debate within the White House about whether or not this should be released, that Secretary Pompeo and Mr. Mulvaney were both on the side of no, this should not be released, and that Bill Barr, the Attorney General, wanted it to be released. So why were those two significant players saying, I wouldn't let this go?
Listen, I'm not going to speak on behalf of Attorney General Barr. I'm not going to speak on behalf of Secretary Pompeo, and I'm definitely not going to speak about internal deliberations we have at the White House. But the fact is, the people didn't vote for our cabinet. They voted for Donald Trump. He's the one who makes these calls, and he is so sick and tired of watching his reputation attacked and people trying to destroy him without any evidence whatsoever. And this is going to prove yet again he's vindicated, and yet again Democrats have overreached and completely ruined what could be some actual good things to accomplish for the American people. And look, these attacks, they don't hurt Donald Trump. He continues to win and continues to do things in a positive way for the American people. It hurts average Americans out there who want something done on guns. This is going to be very difficult now to move forward on these matters.
There's no doubt that it's going to take up all the oxygen in the room for
right.
anything that could be getting done.
Remember in the State of the Union, he gave them the option. Is this going to be about impeachment, or is this going to be about legislation? And they have completely chosen the path.
All right, I got one last question for you. Why, one day after the Mueller albatross is lifted off the president's back and he's free to move on with the rest of his presidency, does he get on the phone with the president of Ukraine and start talking about Biden, about the next election? Why? Why would he do that? It just seems to fly in the face of any good sense whatsoever.
Again, I feel like when you see this transcript, the president is going to be vindicated. It's going to be proven he's done nothing wrong. I can't talk about what's in it yet, obviously.
So is he saying, ha, the Mueller thing is over, and now, gee, you know what I should ask you? Why don't you go look into Biden?
No, look, we all understand what's going on here. Joe Biden has some serious issues in his past. The media have completely ignored it. They're not talking about it at all, except for trying to jump off of Joe Biden to attack Donald Trump. Joe Biden's the one who's done things wrong. He's absolutely bragged about it on national television. The president has done nothing wrong, and you're going to see that tomorrow.
Well, I think there's no doubt that all the focus on this and the impeachment proceeding will shine more light on the Biden issue. And I know Rudy Giuliani has said tomorrow starts, from his perspective, the introduction of the China side of the question where it comes to Joe Biden. And we'll cover it all.
You know
We've covered it all the way through.
It's about time someone looks into it.
All right, Hogan, thank you very much for being here tonight.
Thank
taking
you.
questions. We appreciate you being here.